Well, hello enemies and book lovers, my name is Ash and welcome back to my channel. We are on part 3 of my dark romance reading or genre taste test of dark romance. See if I like dark romance, if I'm enjoying it, tier ranking how dark these books are, and also just rating them and just seeing if I enjoy the genre. I've done 4 so far, and in this video we're going to be doing the 5th and 6th, so we're almost halfway through my project, I guess you can say. I'm a little bit nervous about this one because I think that potentially the first book is going to be one I enjoy. I've heard a lot of good things about, and in the second book, I'm not too sure. It has a pretty bad star rating in general, and I think my friend read this book. You can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but my friend read this book and I'm pretty sure she didn't even enjoy it, and she's like an avid dark romance reader, so you know it might be bad when a dark romance reader didn't enjoy a dark romance book. So I'm a little bit nervous with the second book. I'm not gonna go into it thinking I'm gonna hate it, but there's a decent chance considering what I've heard. But I didn't choose it knowing that. I chose it not knowing that, and now that I know, I'm a little bit nervous. But we're gonna give it a shot, we're gonna try it out. But the first one I'm going to be reading is one that is very popular. I've heard a lot of good things about. I've honestly heard almost only praise about this series, so I'm hopeful that I will like it myself. This is the first book in the Mind F series. This is The Risk, and this is written by S.T. Abbey. I don't know much about these books going into them, but I did read a little bit about what this one's about, and I believe that the main character, her name is Lana. She has been done wrong to, and so she gets revenge on the people that have harmed her. She murders them, and she falls in love with a guy, and then she has to see if he will either join her and go against these people and accept what she's done or what she will do, I'm not sure, or turn against her. I feel like a lot of people read a lot of this together. I think there's like a bind up of all the books because they're really short. This book is only 132 pages, hence I'm not going to discuss this book in spoiler review because it's so short. I feel like there's not really a point to it. So I might not update as I read. I might just update maybe once in the middle, just briefly say how I feel. Or I might just skip to the end, kind of like how I did with Maybe Next Time, and just kind of discuss overall thoughts. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to go read this. I might go on a walk today because my boyfriend's off. I have pretty bad paranoia and anxiety when it comes to leaving the house because I've been so recluse for so long. For like years now, I've been inside the house. And so I am very paranoid about leaving now. Hopefully, eventually, I can go to the park alone. And if I ever end up doing that, I'll probably vlog myself reading on the benches or something. But for the time being, once I'm more comfortable, I'm going to stay with my boyfriend and walk with him, and then eventually if I'm comfortable I will walk alone, and then I'll update you on The Risk and let you know how I feel about it. Hopefully I enjoy it. I've heard good things, so I'm pretty hopeful and optimistic. I showered. I have my tea right here. Let me grab it so I can show you. It's like evidence. Here's the tea. But yes, I am home. I read The Risk. I read actually 30 pages, which is pretty good. I read for 15 minutes walking and then 15 minutes sitting. It was really nice, actually. It was a really nice day out. It's been around like 21 degrees Celsius. I'll put Fahrenheit down here for you Americans out there. It was really nice out, and it's been a nice few days, actually. That being said, let's talk about why we are here for the book, not me. So for The Risk, I read, like I said, 30 pages. I am about 12% of the way through it, and I'm having a really good time with it. The reason why I'm having a good time with it is because it's kind of like a crime investigation thing in a way. So Lana is our protagonist, of course. At 16 years old, unfortunately, a group of men did something to her. I can assume what it was. So 10 years later, when she's 26, which, oh my gosh, a 26-year-old heroine is so nice to read. Regardless, at 26 years old, she ends up finding these men and brutally doing things to them for 3 days straight before offing them, which is, I'm not gonna say she should be doing that because that's technically wrong, but I'm also not gonna criticize her for it because I don't blame her. And then we have Logan, who she meets, and he pays for her food for her and her drink for her, and she's like, I don't want your money, I don't want your handout, but he ends up saying, just take it anyway, okay, just take it. And they both kind of like analyze each other because Logan is FBI agent, which is, ooh, more to say that in a second. And then we have Lana, who is also reading him really well, and they both like read each other, which I feel like is going to be a fun cat and mouse game because obviously Lana is a serial killer and Logan is a FBI agent who specializes in serial killers, and he's actually on the case of Lana. He just doesn't know it yet. So it's been a fun time. They're about to have a coffee date, I think, soon enough. But I am actually really, really interested. I think this is really interesting because it's like a contemporary, but it has like a crime mystery aspect to it, which is really cool and different for me. So I'm just having a good time with that. Obviously, I don't know if there's anything dark in it other than the fact that Lana is a serial killer. I am someone that is fascinated by crime. Although I don't find joy in crime, I find fascination in it. And unfortunately, maybe that's why I'm such a paranoid, anxious person and I don't leave my house. It's because I listen to crime and stuff. It's a bad thing. I shouldn't be doing that. I used to watch CSI when I was like 13 years old. I think I was like 12 years old when I started watching CSI Las Vegas. And I used to love CSI Las Vegas. Oh my God. It was like my personality trait when I was younger. I would love it. I used to know words that a 12-year-old probably shouldn't know, like petechial hemorrhaging. I knew what epithelials were when I was 12. So of course I'm gonna like something like this that has like that crime investigation aspect to it. So I'm really liking it. I only just started it. So now that I'm home and I can drink my tea and relax, I'm probably going to continue it. I'm not gonna have any spoilers for this, so I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm gonna try to make it as spoiler free as possible. There's only 100 something pages in this, so it'll be really quick. So I am almost sad that I might have to stop this at book 1. It might not be that good. Maybe the romance might not be that good, but I'm feeling it so far. My house is still a little bit of disarray from moving. My carpet isn't even on the ground yet because we have to move stuff still, but still, it's fine. So I'm gonna continue this, sit, relax, drink my tea, and continue The Risk, and hopefully I will continue to enjoy it. Hi, I'm on the final part of The Risk. I only have about, how many pages do I have left? I'm on 119 out of 132, so I am very close to the ending of this book, and I wanted to kind of like finish it on camera with you, and then kind of like show you my reactions really quickly, not like last time, and then just giving you my overall thoughts, and then rank it on my chart. I forgot my chart, so I have to go get it now. I'm so lazy. Be right back. I have found it. I have found the chart. We're good. I'm gonna read the next 13 pages with you, and then I will tell you my overall thoughts. So let's finish this off, see how the ending goes, and then I'll tell you how I feel about it, and then just rank it on my chart. So let me read. All right, I'm done. Interesting. I finished The Risk, as you can probably imagine, and quite interesting. So this is under 200 pages. It's really short, 132, I think, to be exact. I read this almost in a day. The only reason why I didn't finish it in a day is because I wanted to finish the last 20 pages with you all and give my like honest kind of recent thoughts, I guess you can say. This did end up on a cliffhanger, which makes me slightly intrigued. It's funny because Covers with Cassidy, I was on our live chat and I asked her if the series gets better or if it like, you know, just is a good series in general. And she said that the romance isn't great, but the interest of the mystery of like the serial killings are the most interesting part. And I actually genuinely agree with that. I don't like the romance. It's way too fast in my opinion. It's not the best developed. And even like the smut scenes aren't that good. They're like 2 paragraphs. I liked the characters. It was interesting. I liked Jake a lot. Jake really helps Lana, which makes me really like him. I don't know why. I just really like Jake. I probably shouldn't, but I do. I am invested with Jake. I kind of want him to be a reoccurring character, although I feel like he might become a victim now that I think about it. The camera moved a bit, it doesn't matter. Overall, enjoyed it, had a fun time. I don't think it was groundbreaking, it wasn't amazing, but I think it probably does get better, I can imagine. I'm more interested in the intrigue aspect, the crime aspect, the FBI, and the murderer being a relationship. I kind of am invested in it. It does make me slightly anxious, but in a good way. So, I mean, I guess that's a positive in a sense, but it is interesting. Now, in regards to the ranking of how dark it is, I feel like it's not that dark. The only dark aspect is the fact that the main female protagonist just kills people. And that's the only thing that really is dark about this book. I have nothing really else. I mean, the topics in it are really dark. A lot of trigger warnings in this, so be very mindful. I would say everything in the dark romance category is almost always going to have really bad trigger warnings, so just mindful of that before you're going into this. I don't really know where to put it because I guess technically this is pretty like dark considering all the subject matter, but I just don't feel like it was that dark to me. So I'm going to personally put it in the either upper dark or lower shadows. What do I think? You know what, just because of the subject matter, it doesn't have to be about the couple that are in the dark situation. Because of what the subject matter is, I'm going to put it in the lighter dark category. So above Hooked. So it's not as dark as Hooked in regards to the romance, it's not dark. But in regards to the subject matter, it's dark. So I'm just going to put it in here. There it is. It is now on the board. It is above Hooked. It's weird because the romance isn't as dark at all, because the romance is actually pretty, I wouldn't say wholesome. It's a lot more positive than Hooked, but I want to think of dark romance as like dark romance in regards to the romance itself. It's not dark in regards to the romance, but it is dark in the subject matter. So it will still be in the dark category because of the subject matter itself. We have one more book for this video, and this one is going to be interesting because I know it has a low rating. I have a really high expectation of either hating it or DNFing it. But let me just tell you what the second book is going to be. I have a few dark hockey romances on this list. It's just a weird category because I like hockey romance, I like hockey, I'm Canadian. I feel like that makes sense, you know? Long story short, I enjoy the sport. It's the only sport I actually genuinely like and I have some knowledge of, so it's something that I'm interested in. So I do like hockey romance once in a while. Pucking around is a good example, but a dark romance with hockey players is a very weird but interesting concept. I don't really know how it could be dark other than the men, so this is kind of where I'm a little bit nervous. This is the first book in the Pucking Wrong series. This is the Pucking Wrong number, a hockey romance, obviously a dark hockey romance, and this is written by C.R. Jane. As mentioned, not very good ratings, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is about Lincoln, who accidentally texts our protagonist, and despite this, he kind of starts to grow attached to her and obsessed with her, and I can only imagine what ensues from this. I think there's like stalking and everything, so a little bit nervous. I kind of want to push through it and just rant about it, but I feel like this video would be like an hour long if I did that. I went grocery shopping, so I'm gonna give you like a grocery haul because I find that to be fun as an adult. For some reason, I like watching that kind of stuff. You know, when you're an adult, when you like to watch people do things that are like just basic things, it's such a interesting thing. Although I do know teenagers watch that stuff too, so it's not an adult thing only, but it feels like such an adult activity to watch people work or watch people clean or watch people show groceries. It's just interesting. Anyway, like I said though, let's see how far I get into it. I might hate this, so we're gonna give it a shot and see if I enjoy it. But first, let me show you my groceries I got yesterday. This is the first time we've been to a really big shopping thing for about 2 months because we've been really struggling with money. So this is the first time we spend a pretty good amount. So as you can see, this is not all of it, but this is the majority of it. This will probably feed us for about a month, if not a little bit more. Obviously topping up on certain things, but this is pretty much most of our food. It altogether, including the other stuff, was I think around $312 Canadian. Like I said, this is not all of it, but we did pretty good on deals. These at Walmart were all 50 cents each, which is insane. Usually these are about $4 each. This is the second area. This is all of my vegan, vegetarian stuff. These are like my favorite veggie burgers. The ingredients list is really good in comparison to something like Beyond Meat. I love Beyond Meat, but obviously it's not as healthy. These are like amazing, incredible. I like putting these in my breakfast wraps. They are delicious. Love my fake bacon. BLTs are amazing. And then of course we have just like the basic stuff over here. So, and then the last area is this section. This was chicken. It is now deboned, so that's why it's here, kind of cooling off. This is all for my boyfriend when he gets his wisdom teeth done. And then we got this for my salads. And then we actually got this from Walmart as well. And this was only $1.50 Canadian. That is insane. That's really cheap. This was like $5 at Superstore, but Walmart had it for $1.50, which is amazing. $312 Canadian. So that is really good for us in Canada. I don't know. You can let me know if that's good or not for you wherever you live. But that's pretty good. That is it for the grocery shopping part of the video. Hope you enjoyed. All right, I have a watermelon. I want to cut it up. I want to see if it's a good watermelon. I tried to do like the tapping technique, you know, see if I got a good one. So this was only $1.50 Canadian, cheap. So let's see if it's actually red inside. This is kind of gonna be my lunch, so it better be good. Knife warning, there's gonna be a knife. Oh, it's on the screen already, sorry. Anyway. Oh God. It's gracious, all right. Okay, let's see. Ooh, that's nice. Juicy one. Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna do this. All right, let's see. That's a good watermelon. That's good. That's good. Issue is my boyfriend doesn't like watermelon, so I'm gonna have to eat this whole thing by myself. Not in one day, mind you. Not complaining though. I love watermelon. To say that this concerns me is a slight understatement. I think I'm enjoying this book. I'm slightly concerned by that. Well, as I mentioned, I am enjoying this book, which I am having mixed feelings on, because I feel like I was supposed to hate this. I thought going into this, I expected to not like it. But that being said, I think I'm only about 20 something of the way through. There's still a decent chance that I will eventually dislike this book and dislike Lincoln. But I don't hate him. I don't hate the book. What is going on? I think that it's going to get worse because we know that Lincoln is a little bit crazy in the head. So he ends up meeting her. I'm not going to go into spoilers, so don't worry. What ends up happening is he accidentally texts her thinking it's someone else. And then she replies and gets all like snarky with him, and he kind of enjoys it. And then she's like, this isn't the girl that you think it is. And then she sends a selfie of herself and he's like enamored, instantly enamored and obsessed with her. And it is very toxic. Like realistically speaking, if a man was like this to me or anyone I knew, red flags, get away from him. But in a fictional setting, why am I not that mad about it? This isn't the best relationship, but I'm having a good time with it. So they text on and off, and he ends up hiring someone to find her address and goes to her house, and she lives in a very rundown area. So he keeps an eye on her and he's like worried about her. And there's like this homeless man that she meets in the beginning of the book that is kind of like keeping an eye on her as well. He's kind of protecting her in a way, like, but they just met for the first time. So at like the 25% mark, they finally met for the first time because they've been talking over text the entire time. And it was actually kind of fun to read. Lincoln feels a little immature. I think he's 23 and she's 19. And I'm actually kind of enjoying the back and forth between them. I don't know. The idea of a man being completely obsessed to the point of loving and protecting you to a certain degree is 100% toxic, but in a fictional setting, I think it gets a lot worse in regards to Lincoln. So I'm a little nervous, especially considering that Monroe, who is the main character, female protagonist, she's been through so much things. Every single man, except for the homeless man, has either wanted her in a way that's, you know, inappropriate, or they've been like assaulting her, they've been like forced themselves on her, they've been horrible to her. Every single man, except for this homeless man, has been horrible to her. And it's so annoying to read because it acts like every man is like this. And I know there are a lot of horrible guys out there, but to this extent, it's a little bit frustrating to read. Like every single guy, the landlord, the guy that she's working with, her friend that is in her class, I think, and he's like hitting on her now. There was another guy, I don't even know who he was because there's so many. There's been about 4 or 5 guys within 30% of the book that have been trying to get with her and have been slightly inappropriate or very inappropriate depending on the guy. And it's very frustrating to read. Although it does make some interesting parts with Lincoln because he gets mad and jealous. And again, fictionally, I can't be mad about it. I'm having a really fun time with this. I do think it could go downhill because of the things that are going to happen, but I'm still enjoying it to an extent. So I'm going to continue that probably today. I am also going to be not eating watermelon. I ate about 1/3 of a watermelon for lunch. It was very good. But after a while, I was just like, this is enough. So I'm going to get off and read and then do anything else I have planned for today. Probably not much, if anything. And I will continue and update you because I'm actually having fun with this. Although I'm a little bit worried it's going to go in a bad direction. So you will see me in a second and I will tell you if it's in a bad direction or not. What am I reading? I have nothing to say. What just happened? I think it's been almost a month since I've updated you last, so it's about time I actually do it. It's October 2nd. I think I updated you beginning of September, maybe mid-September. I did finish this actually weeks ago. I just don't know why I haven't talked about it yet. Maybe because I'm just trying to forget it. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. So the first half of the book I actually quite enjoyed. The first 50%, exactly 50% of the book, I kind of liked. You know, there's a concept of a guy being so obsessed with you that he actually listens to every word you say and cares about you enough that he, you know, does whatever you tell him to, and essentially someone that's obsessed with you in a healthy way. That sounds appealing, in a healthy way, mind you. But then you bring in the second half of the book, the 51%, it started going downhill, all right? It went downhill, and then it continued downhill, and it was like snowball effect. It just never stopped. There's a point with me that it stops being romantic. It's okay if you like this kind of thing, but it got to a point where I was like, this is too much. Like, this is not healthy. This isn't good. Monroe is the main protagonist, and Lincoln is the male protagonist, or is he an antagonist? He's like an antagonist, but whatever, he's in the middle, he's in the gray area. The beginning I kind of enjoyed. We're following these two. He texts someone, it's accidentally Monroe, and they start to have feelings with one another, and at first I was kind of enjoying this, but like I said, it went a little downhill. So overall, I gave this a 3-star. This book has a 3.55 average rating on Goodreads, and I gave it a 3. So that's pretty accurate of a rating in my opinion. I also know that this probably got review bombed because the author, supposedly C.R. Jane, went and started like making fun of people's reviews that gave it a low rating and was like mean to those people. So this doesn't make me want to read from this author in the future. I don't like any authors are just horrible to their audience. I do go into these books blind, so I didn't know that beforehand, but now that I do, probably won't read from them anymore. But yeah, like I said, the second half of the book kind of went a little bit much in my opinion. It wasn't like the worst thing I've ever read in regards to how dark it got. It was just kind of like Lincoln is not good for her, especially because Monroe has so much damage from her past. She has so many things that she needs to be repaired and healed. She needs to go to a therapist. She needs to go to a doctor. She needs help. And then Lincoln is just there. He's none of those things. The part that happened at 51%, I almost want to mention it because I feel like that's like a safety hazard, a health hazard to do that when something is healing. I'm not even gonna say anything, but something was happening, a medical thing, and then he just started doing things with her. And I'm like, feel like that would cause an infection, but whatever. When it comes to hockey, the hockey aspect of this book, I didn't like. I kind of skimmed it because it was kind of annoying and boring. Every single time there was anything to do with hockey, they would almost always win, and it would always be Lincoln that gets like the final goal, or he gets like 3 goals. And it felt like he wasn't even a good team player. I know there's different like the offense, defense. I know there's different types of places that they go, but usually you pass the puck. You don't just like a squirrel, sorry. I'm like a dog. You pass the puck, you don't just constantly score the goal, and he always had the last goal. He was the best guy on the entire team. It was annoying. There's also another part where he gets body checked and his rib actually breaks or fractures or breaks. My dad had his rib break and it was the most excruciating thing in the world for him. He had to sit on a couch to sleep because he couldn't lay down, and it took him like a month, and he is like one of those people that are really, really strong and they will not complain, and he was having a hard time. And Lincoln breaks a rib or fractures a rib, whatever, and he literally just puts something around his stomach and goes back on the ice. If your rib breaks, there's potential for it to pierce a lung, and then you can't breathe, you collapse a lung. The fact that he went back on the ice was so unrealistic and stupid. It's just to prove that he's such a tough guy, but it just made me think like he's an idiot. That's all I thought about when I saw that. I didn't like Lincoln by the end of it. I liked some of it in the beginning. I'll be honest, okay? I liked some of him in the beginning, but it went downhill, and I don't like Lincoln anymore. Monroe just needs help. I feel bad for her. She's a victim. That's all I have to say about that. Now, my chart about ranking systems of how dark these are. I put risk. I think I put the risk originally in the dark section. It's in the shadows, okay? I kind of thought about it, and it's not that bad. It's not that dark, in my opinion. At least book 1, maybe it gets darker. I know what happens with the main character is pretty dark, and what she does is pretty dark, but it didn't feel the same as the other books. I like how the relationship was healthier in the risk, but it didn't feel as dark in regards to, I don't know, the feeling of it. It didn't feel that dark, but it does have a lot of dark elements, so just be careful if you go into it. It has a lot of messed up stuff in it. I feel like all of these books so far, almost all these books have had the main character, the female protagonist, go through SA or some type of assault, and it's so frustrating because like that's not always the main plot point of dark romance. Please stop giving the female character so much trauma. You can still have dark romance without having female trauma, okay? I don't know if I mentioned the star rating for the risk. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. I did like it. I do think that it can get better, and I think it will get better as I progress through the series. But for the fucking wrong number, how do I feel about this? I don't think it was as dark as Hooked, because Hooked had the main male protagonist off people. This book, that didn't happen. And also just felt a lot, they have similarities actually, but in contemporary setting with hockey, it's hard to kind of take it seriously sometimes. It was a little bit weird anyway. I think this one is going to be dark, but it's going to not be as dark as Hooked. I'm just going to put it here for now. I actually read 6 so far. I DNF'd 1, as you can see, but I've read 6 dark romances so far. Here they are. Wow, beautiful. Amazing. So that's all. This one wasn't too bad. Quite honest with you, The Risk and The Fucking Wrong Number weren't that bad. I didn't hate them. This is actually pretty good. I feel like so far in all the ones I've read or all the videos, this one's kind of most successful in a way because I didn't hate either of them. The Risk was actually really interesting, but The Fucking Wrong Number was actually enjoying it a decent amount of the way through. I felt like it was getting a little bit too much, but it was kind of humorous at the point where it was just like going too far. It was dumb, but it was funny, so I had fun with it. Although I'm not going to continue the series because the author, and also because it wasn't that interesting. It wasn't interesting enough. So far, the only one for all of these I plan on continuing is The Risk. That's the only one I actually want to continue forward with. So 1 out of 5 I actually want to continue, which isn't too bad considering everything. I would like to at least have a few that I want to continue with, but so far this isn't too bad. So I'm going to finish the 3rd part of my dark romance taste test video here. I'm having a good time with this, so I'm going to continue it. There are 15 total, and I'm already 6. So I am almost halfway through, which is a lot of fun. Thank you for my friends that are watching this and talk to me about it afterward, because it's always fun to talk about interesting books, to say the least. So with that, I'm going to end the video off here. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have some great reads, and I hope to see you all soon. Goodbye, everyone.